Last year, Grace Church stepped into something big, something new. We knew that God was calling us as a church and as individual people of God to produce good fruit, meaning powerful work that would point people to Jesus by helping them in a much-needed way. For the One is the initiative that does just that. By supporting all the work that God does through Grace and adding the very important external focus on mental health, people are finding hope and healing, and many are finding Jesus.
One thing we know, we're surrounded by people both inside and outside the church who struggle with matters of the heart and the mind. Mental wellness is so important, and mental health is perhaps the biggest problem people face today. From addiction to anxiety and depression, breakdown of families, and on and on and on. These realities have so many people feeling hopeless and alone. That's why we set out last year to make a real impact, a real difference.
While this external focus of mental health is the what of For the One, the bigger overarching focus and objective is the why. The why focuses on discipleship. What God is calling us to do is to live in complete surrender and submission to Jesus Christ as supreme, first, and the top priority of all of our lives.
Many of you engaged, you considered your priorities and asked the hard question, is Jesus really first in my life? You made decisions that reflected growth in that idea. Many of you committed and have given sacrificially. As a result, God has done some really astounding things.
Josh, I can't believe we just opened our doors on July 1st, and we have already had hundreds of sessions. Seeing people just come through the doors has been an incredible blessing.
To see Grace go from announcing For the One to launching For the One Counseling Center to now we're really in a place of flourishing.
Yes.
It's such a privilege to be a part of this team, to see our clinicians leading the way in serving our population. Anyone from toddler aged all the way up to someone in their 70s and 80s, helping people face their greatest struggles. It truly is a gift to be a part of.
One of our key objectives is to increase access to care related to mental health, both by providing services for people from all walks of life and by helping educate and prepare future leaders to provide greater access to care. That led us to the University of Nevada Department of Psychology, where God worked out something truly amazing. So we know what an internship is, but what's an externship?
Well, an externship is when one of our students goes out in the community while they're still a student in our program to get trained on being a good therapist.
This arrangement we've come up with, how does that actually work?
Our students in their third year and beyond will go to one of three agencies: the School of Medicine and the Reno Hospital, which does a lot of rehab work. Also Community Health Alliance and Northern Nevada Hopes. Both the Community Health Alliance and Northern Nevada Hopes are federally qualified health centers, which means that they serve the neediest people in the community.
So not only do these externships help the students get the training that they need, but it helps these people that otherwise wouldn't get the care that they need.
That's right.
These students, you said they're in their third year and beyond, so they're in the PhD program.
That's right.
So they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, they're serious about it, and they're committed to improving the mental health of our society.
These are people with problems that are beyond the scope of For the One counseling. So we're able to get into a space and help change those odds and increase access to care.
Right.
So that's awesome. The dual benefit of these mental health externships, the fact that they provide training for therapy and serve those with the least access to care, makes this the perfect priority for our year-end giving. I can't wait to see how God uses our partnership with the university.
Back to the original goal: engagement, discipleship, growth. Now it's time for everyone to re-engage with God. Maybe you're new at Grace Church, or last year you didn't engage at all. We'd love to have you join us by making a one-year pledge, planning now how you're going to put Jesus first by practicing generosity in your life. And it could be life-changing. Ask God what He wants you to do.
When I first heard about For the One, I just remember getting on my knees next to our bed and just praying and asking God what he wanted us to do. And he gave me a number. To be honest, I was like, no, like that's not right.
Initially, I would fight with God on like, no, the number should be smaller. Like, let's be logical about this. Let's go through our expenses and then give the rest. But he was like, no, I'm first and this needs to be first. So yeah, came up with a good number and then talked about it and signed up.
Reaching the halfway point, we have to ask ourselves that question of, are we gonna finish well? Are we gonna stop? Are we gonna, give less?
If we stop now, we're giving up on God's plan for us, God's future for us. And all these things that I thought I wanted coming into marriage are just things that could take away from our relationship with God. Whereas now, all of that can go towards him and furthering his kingdom in Reno. And I think that's just so cool.
Many of you made a commitment last year. Maybe you're on track, maybe you're not. Regardless, we're asking you to commit to finishing strong. We are just getting started in this work for God and people, and we need you.
I did make a commitment to For the One in the past, but in thinking about it more and praying about it, I think God is showing me that there is more that I could commit to if I prioritize him above other things that don't need to be put first. I'm working on listening to God and being obedient, even when it's hard or scary, and the For the One initiative is so important. I want to commit more of what I can commit to help advance that because it's helping me. It's gonna help so many people, and that's more important than spending money on useless things.
Maybe you made a commitment, a sacrificial one, but you feel a stirring in your heart. Maybe God's calling you to do more. Ask him, engage with him, then do what he asks you to do. Completing this work requires all of us engaging, listening, and then doing what God has called us to do. I encourage you, if he's calling you to do more, go ahead. Don't be afraid.
Doing kingdom work is so fulfilling. Putting Christ first is the only real way to live. What a challenge and a privilege to be a part of what God is doing. Thank you for your commitment to Jesus and to grace. What he's called us to requires full surrender, and with that comes a great blessing and opportunity for growth and impact.
For God, for people, for the city, for the one.